Hello friends, welcome to my channel ELS English Literature Studies with Kaur Harpreet. Today I will discuss about what is sentimental comedy. Before that, romantic comedies and comedy of humors. These two types are already discussed. If you're interested, you can check those videos, right? So let's get started with today's topic, that is about sentimental comedy. Before starting, I would like to revise whatever is done in my previous videos. In my previous videos, I've discussed about comedy firstly. What is a comedy? It is a play with happy ending, and it aims at making people laugh at certain follies, vanities, hypocrisies and weaknesses of people for reforming society, right? This is the, we can say, one type of aim of a comedy, that it is a play with happy ending, but through follies and vanities, the writer wants to reform society, right? After that, I've also discussed the romantic comedies, then the comedy of humors, right? Let us discuss in brief what is romantic comedy for those who are new and my subscriber. Romantic comedy, it is a love comedy. It always ends in the happy marriage of true lovers, right? These also cover the theme of humor, lifestyle, fun. Along with love, all these three things are also concerned in its theme, right? Second is the comedy of humors. This is a second type. This is another important type of comedy which was adopted by Ben Jonson. And according to this, there are four main fluids in human body, and right, and what is Ben Jonson's interpretation about this four fluids, that he took the word humor and he took it back to its original physiological sense, and also fitted it into the context of his concept of the nature and function of comedy, right? Ben Jonson's interpretation is that just as a man has in his physique a dominant humor, similarly he has in his psyche a dominant passion, right? And if you wanted to know more about this, then you can check out my previous video, right? I was talking about the four fluids. That Ben Jonson says that there are four main fluids in human body, and if these fluids are in appropriate proportion, then a man is normal. And in my previous video, I've also discussed about the drawbacks if something is more than needed, right? You can check that video. And the third type is the sentimental comedy, which is today's topic. So let's get started. What is a sentimental? Sentimental comedy, it is a dramatic genre of the 18th century, right? The Restoration comic style collapsed around the end of the 17th century when the satiric vision gave place to a sentimental one. At the beginning of the 18th century, there was a blending of the tragic and comic genres, right? And this type of comedy is a comedy that deals with the behavior of people. That sentimental comedy deals with the behavior of people, and there is a satiric tone in such comedies, right? And the language which is used is witty, and that is meant to highlight the artificial values of the people which are concerned, right? And let me discuss one thing here that I have not mentioned in the slide, that what is the difference between Restoration comedy and 18th century comedy, right? Restoration comedy were objectionable, and these were replaced by moral though unrealistic sentimental comedies, right? And when we talk about 18th century comedies, these arose out of the feeling of liberation at the end of the Commonwealth and Cromwell's restrictive government, right? It was a reaction against, we can say it was a, in simple words, it was a reaction against the moral structures of the Puritans. Next is about what is the aim. What is the aim of sentimental comedy? Its aim is to expose the superficial values. It aims to expose the superficial values of the upper class society. The hypocrisy, it also aims to expose the hypocrisies of this class, the low moral values, highly artificial customs and manners. All these things are features we can say, and things are exposed through their behavior. And it also exposes the issue of adultery, fortune hunting, and also exposes the commercialization of love and marriage. Very important thing to underline, that it also exposes the commercialization. There was commercialization of love and marriage. It means there was there was no love and marriage was not sacred for them, right? These comedies arouse out of infidelity in love and marriage, and characters were not at all serious about love and marriage. It was commercialization. They do not take love and marriage as a sacred thing, right? And it was more of a mercenary venture for them. Then these type of plays give us insights into the upper class society, and the immoralities of the upper classes are brought to the surface through these sentimental comedies, and the use of it is very remarkable in these comedies. One thing is left about the use of language. The language, we can say, the language which is used by its characters is brilliant on the surface, no doubt. It's very rich in itself, but hollow within, right? It seems as a language lacks emotional and psychological depth, and such witty language is best suited to depict the artificial values of the people. The dialogues used are short but sharp. And we can say that these types of plays, such plays are neither realistic nor great works of art. And here Oscar Wilde's The Importance of this work, The Importance of Being Earnest, also belongs to this category of plays, right? It is Oscar Wilde's this play, The Importance of Being Earnest, satirizes the values of the Victorian upper class society. It does not represent the whole cross section of society, right? And the same, we can say, theme is represented by Congreve in his work The Way of the World. Next, friends, we will talk about writers of sentimental comedy, which includes this one, Cibber, and then Farquhar with their respective plays. These are the respective plays. I will discuss in next slide. Now, what is the which one is the best known non-sentimental comedy? This is very important that you should know which is the best non-sentimental comedy, that is written by Richard Steele. And the name of the comedy is The Conscious Lover, 1722, right? It deals with the trials and tribulations. Now, friends, there is list of some dramatists, and the name of the plays written by them. Firstly is Cibber. His work is Love's Last Shift, 1696. Then we have George Farquhar. His work is The Constant Couple, 1699. Then Richard Steele. We have The Lying Lover, 1705. The Conscious Lover, 1722. Both these two works are written by Richard Steele, right? And The Conscious Lovers is, we have talked about it right now. Then we have Edmund Moore. Work is The Foundling. Then here is William Whitehead, The School for Lovers. So friends, this is a list of some their plays. And I hope you will like my content, and if you like it, please hit the like button, share and subscribe my channel. And if you are new to my channel, please hit the bell button so that you can get notifications from my upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching.